Welcome back to Star Talk Daily. After rewatching The Beekeeper, I found a hidden detail that makes Jason Statham's $163 action sleeper even more of a masterpiece. Jason Statham has been in many hit action movies, with the most recent of these being the Chuck Dixon novel adaptation A Working Man. This was preceded the previous year by the somewhat similar revenge film The Beekeeper, which certainly stung audiences with wall-to-wall, hard-hitting action. It was also incredibly over the top in terms of its plot and characterization, though some of these more thematic elements may have gone over some viewers' heads. One of the many enemies that Jason Statham's Adam Clay faces in The Beekeeper is a man named Lazarus, and he's meant to, in many ways, be his perfect rival. Besides the similarly biblical names, there's another element that makes these two characters opposites. While it's incredibly subtle, it only showcases just how ridiculous and almost comedic the world of the 2024 film, which is now set to receive a sequel, truly was. 2024's best action movie flirted with cartoonish levels of mayhem. The Beekeeper had several over-the-top elements. In many ways, The Beekeeper has many similarities to other revenge-based Jason Statham revenge flicks, with these having become the action star's bread and butter. The story involves Statham's Adam Clay, who's caught in a web of vengeance when a friend of his who took him in is forced to end her own life after becoming involved in a phishing scam. Clay tracks down the group behind this scheme, and it turns out to be far more grandiose than even he expected. The mastermind behind the entire plan is Derek Danforth, a young CEO who's also the son of the president. The phishing scam was part of the plot by Danforth to get his mother elected, and they have several highly trained personnel protecting them if the secret ever gets out. Unfortunately for Derek Danforth, played by Five Nights at Freddy's actor, Josh Hutcherson, Adam Clay is especially suited to the task of getting vengeance for his fallen friend. Clay is actually a former beekeeper, with this specially trained group being taught to protect the United States and its citizens, no matter the cost. As their name suggests, their training and jargon are based on the hierarchy of bee colonies, with the protection of the proverbial hive being of the utmost importance. To this end, they're above judicial laws when it comes to completing their mission, something which causes consternation between Adam Clay and Verona, the daughter of his fallen friend. Despite being in law enforcement, it's only through the movie's events that she learns what beekeepers, in the clandestine definition, are. Nevertheless, it's clear from other parts of the film that there are several similar assassins at the beck and call of the highest bidder, similar to the world of the John Wick franchise. These characters are all sent out against Adam Clay, and they increasingly showcase how ridiculous the Beekeeper can be at times. Lazarus in The Beekeeper was Adam Clay's mortal enemy. One small detail cements their rivalry. One of Adam Clay's enemies in The Beekeeper is Lazarus, a South African mercenary played by Taylor James. He's part of a group of bodyguards that protect the Danforths, namely, once Clay gets on their trail. Lazarus and his group are specifically trained to be anti-beekeepers, making them incredibly versatile. This furthers the subtle world-building of the movie, suggesting that the elites both know about the beekeepers, but also have countermeasures to fight against them. In this way, Lazarus is a sort of reverse version of Adam Clay, which makes sense given his persona. His attitude and clothing are a lot louder, and their names are mutually biblical in origin. Lazarus' name hints at his mortal occupation, with the death he sows being the reverse of the resurrection that Jesus Christ gave to the dead Lazarus in the Bible. Conversely, Adam has the same name as the first man in the Bible, with different translations even speaking to his being made from clay, the dust of the earth. If these elements weren't enough to make these two characters into polar opposites, an overlooked fashion choice really brings this concept home. During the raid on the Danforths' hideout, Lazarus is seen wearing a yellow jacket. This matches his blatantly dyed blonde hair, adding to his personal aesthetic, which is much different from Adam's. There's also another element to it that really makes Lazarus the antithesis to beekeepers. Yellow jackets are the natural enemies of bees, which is why the yellow jacket wearing Lazarus fights Adam Clay in The Beekeeper. This could be read in multiple ways, as the bee in question could be argued to be Adam. At the same time, Adam is meant to be a beekeeper, so Lazarus' clothing might instead represent the mercenary as an enemy to the hive itself, society at large. Conversely, Adam is essentially ambushed by his enemy due to his already protecting the Danforths, similar to how yellowjackets ambush bees before killing them. As a result, the metaphors are a bit mixed while still working in several ways. Regardless of the intended meaning, Lazarus gives Adam the most issues throughout their fight in The Beekeeper, and their fight is easily the longest. Beforehand, many of Adam's brutal fight scenes were fairly one-sided in his favor, but the anti-beekeeper definitely gives as good as he gets. It's mainly when Clay uses his enemy's weapons against him that he's able to turn the tide, with a knife that Lazarus pulls out being used to stab him in the hand as Adam punches him with his own brass knuckles. Despite being the most successful overall against Clay, Lazarus isn't the only somewhat over-the-top villain in the film, with another foe being one of the most hilarious elements in the Jason Statham hit. More hidden gems and epic endings are coming your way, so hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. You don't want to miss what's next. This was the StarTalk Daily, bringing stories to life. Until the next reel, stay curious.